This is Cashing Out on VSiN, the sports betting network.
All right, welcome into Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo, taking you through your Wednesday night into your Thursday morning here on the program. Man, the weekend's so close, I can taste it. You know what else I could taste? The Masters. We're going to break that down later on in the program. I don't actually care about the tournament itself. I just want to taste the Masters dinner that would be nice. Every year they show those menus. And, you know, for a guy who hasn't swung a golf club outside of Topgolf in probably 4 years, I don't know. I spend way too much time thinking about what my Masters menu would look like. Maybe we'll craft one up for later in the show. Going to break that down later on with Wes Reynolds. He'll be joining the program here coming up shortly this hour. Going to take it to the ice. Jonathan Davis, VSiN's NHL expert, going to pop on and join the show here shortly as the NHL season gets ready to wind down. Both the NBA and NHL seasons winding down, but the drama's not. You've got, obviously, the story of the week for the past couple of days in Denver. Michael Malone getting canned with 3 games to go in the regular season. But how about the story of Wednesday night? Luka Doncic and the Lakers going back to Dallas. Doncic in tears during that pregame tribute video the Mavericks put up. And it makes you wonder. You're going to put up that pregame tribute for the guy, and you were so important to us. We love you so much. Why the hell did you trade him? Just an absolutely mind-boggling decision. But the Mavericks ownership has been a disaster ever since Cuban sold the majority share of the team, right? You got the Adelsons running it. I mean, come on. Sheldon Adelson's kids are my age. You think they have a freaking clue about what they're doing running a basketball team, telling their mom what to do running the basketball team? I think there's like a 28-year-old kid whose big credential was he ran a team over in the Israeli Basketball League. Yeah, that'll do it. Go from the Israeli Basketball League to the Dallas Mavericks. This is what happens sometimes when Silver Spoon brats get too much money. I mean, the Mavericks have been run into the dumpster by that family. Greenlighting that, and Nico Harrison just not having a clue what he's doing in the front office. And I call out the ownership because, let's face it, if Cuban was the owner, you think he in a million years would have greenlit that trade? You think if Mark Cuban was the big boss, the final boss, no, he'd have Nico out of there faster than you could blink. That would have never happened if Cuban was still the majority owner of the Dallas Mavericks. So there's incompetence, quite literally. It's not just coaching. It's not just front office, general manager. The incompetence goes right up to the ownership in Dallas. They're a joke. And it was actually funny, speaking of jokes, it was kind of comical watching the game because it was like, it was almost like a Little League game where parents are just cheering for the kid no matter what team the kid's on, every time something happens. There was no booing. It felt like there was no road team. Mavericks had the ball, they cheered for the Mavericks. Lakers had the ball, Luka had the ball, they were cheering for Luka. It was weird just watching the crowd, listening to the crowd cheer no matter who had the ball. And Luka gave him something to cheer for. 45 points. How about that? You know, I was scared to go over 30.5 because I looked at his totals past 10 games in the prop market, 26.5, 27.5. I said, obviously it's inflated for the emotional aspect of it. 30.5. I'm not going to get to the counter on that when it's juiced 4 points up from where it normally is. Psh, joke's on me. 45. How do you like that? 30.5. Let's go 40 plus. Why don't we? Under on assists, over on rebounds, over on steals. You know, Luka was jazzed up. He decided to play defense for a change. It's a rare occurrence for Luka Doncic. But he did it all. LeBron added 27. Anthony Davis, rematch with his former team. Pretty lackluster. Got a double-double, 13 points, 11 boards, but nothing really over the top, never took the game over. Dallas hung in there first half, had a good first quarter. Lakers took over in the second quarter, never looked back. They win and cover with ease, laying 4.5. That number felt too short. Felt a little too good to be true because of how short it was. Almost seemed fishy. Nothing fishy about it. Lakers 112, Mavericks 97. Lakers seem to be in pretty good command of that 3 seed in the Western Conference. The Rockets have the 2 seed locked up. Oklahoma City, obviously, the 1. How about the chaos from 4 to 7? Clippers, Nuggets, Warriors, Grizzlies, all 47 and 32 going into Wednesday. The Clippers blowing out an undermanned Rockets team. The Nuggets, bit of a fight. Sacramento's giving them a little tougher fourth quarter than they did in the third. 9.5 to go in the fourth. Kings have cut it to 9. It was 8 at halftime. I said Denver laying 8.5 looked good. They got up to as many as leading by 13. Now it's back down to 9, and the Kings grab a board there. So we'll see. Sacramento not going down quietly. The Nuggets are a team in the futures market that, to quote Mr. Grinch, I wouldn't touch with a 39.5-foot pole. I mean, 8-1 to win the West after firing Michael Malone and their GM Calvin Booth, but more importantly, Malone. 8-1. You should be offering the Nuggets at 18-1 right now to win the Western Conference. Look at those odds. OKC odds-on favorites. And then you've got Golden State, a team that is currently the 6th seed. Could be in the play-in tournament, though. I mean, they're the second shot. Lakers are your third shot. To me, the Lakers should be your second shot. And then the list goes down, and look at your 7th shot on the board. The Houston Rockets, 25-1. I got them Sunday night at 27-1. That is inexcusable. To quote one of my favorite characters from The Princess Bride, the little Sicilian guy, that is inconceivable that a 2 seed in the Western Conference is the 7th shot on the board at 25-1. The Houston Rockets are going to be the beneficiaries of not only home court advantage the first round and if they move on the second round, but also they're going to play a team that just had to be in the play-in tournament in that 7-8 game. Right now it would be the winner of Memphis, Minnesota. That's subject to change. I mean, you're going to tell me that you don't think the Rockets are moving on from that? And then they would probably host the Lakers, a team that I would make favorites in the series, but slight favorites. A team that the Rockets are capable, I think, of beating. But as long as they get past that first round matchup, you're really beginning to open up yourself to some nice hedge opportunities at a price like 25-1. I mean, the fact that the Rockets are the 7th shot, the Timberwolves, who are currently the 8th seed, are a shorter shot than them, and then the Grizzlies are the 8th shot, who currently hold the 7th. Like, it makes no sense. I could see, even though the game would be in Memphis if the season ended today, Grizzlies, T-Wolves, I would see the Wolves being favored in that one. Slight road favorites. So let's say it's Minnesota-Houston for a 7-game set. Are the Rockets going to be underdogs on their home court in that series in a 2-7? That would be crazy. I love my Rockets ticket. And yes, I absolutely, once they make it out of the first round, I'm going to look to hedge. But say Memphis does get past Minnesota. I think the Grizzlies are the least feared team in the top 8, considering they're the 8th shot on the board at 55-1. I mean, come on, they're $30 longer than the Rockets. Obviously, Vegas is not afraid or concerned or worried about the Memphis Grizzlies. Well, what if the Grizzlies on their home court beat Minnesota in that 7-8 game? Rockets' price just got a whole lot shorter because now everyone thinks the Rockets have the edge over Memphis that maybe they didn't think they had over Minnesota. This Houston team, I mean, they're a top 3 or so team defensively in the West. I can't get over the disrespect they're facing. Win the first round, and then you hedge from that point on. But on principle alone and on the price and on the number, I can't pass up on a 2 seed who would potentially have home court advantage the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, sitting there as the 7th shot at 25-1. I just think that you cannot pass up on that on principle alone. Let's look at some other NBA action from Wednesday night momentarily. But first, I do want to remind you, VSiN fans, it's time to plan your Las Vegas getaway. Circa Las Vegas owner Derek Stevens is offering you 15% off at 3 incredible properties: Circa Las Vegas, the D Hotel, and the Golden Gate. Whether you're lounging by Circa's stunning rooftop pool, stadium swim taken in the games, or enjoying all the excitement Las Vegas has to offer, you'll save big with the promo code VSiN15. Book your stay now, circalasvegas.com. Use that code VSiN15. You'll get 15% off. Your Vegas adventure starts right here. Other NBA action Wednesday night. The Boston Celtics played UNI your wheelchair-ridden grandmother might have actually gotten some minutes for the Celtics in that game. I mean, my goodness, 76 points. You know, our producer, Jared Moore, who often gives absolutely freezing cold takes, actually brought up a great point. It was nice for a change. It was refreshing, some would say. You have to actively try in the NBA in the year 2025 to only score 76 points. Like, it's hard to only score 76 points when defense is just flat out a lost art in this league, in this sport. The Celtics never scored more than 21 in a single quarter. How about that? 21, 20, 20, 15. It's laughable. It's kind of funny. Peyton Pritchard, 15 points, 10 assists. He got a double-double, sixth man of the year. Seems inevitable he's going to win that award. But the Boston Celtics, you know, and they didn't need to play anyone against the Knicks, front end of the back-to-back. They chose which game to take off. That Knicks game, where the lines fluctuated, Celtics were favored by 2.5, then underdogs of 2.5, and then favored again at close when the books realized everyone but Al Horford was actually going to play. That was just a let's twist the knife moment. That was let's take it to our division rival, a team we hate, and go 4-0 against them this season. They're locked into the 2 seed. They didn't need that game. But the Knicks just can't beat the Cavs, the Celtics, or the Thunder. The Knicks can't beat great teams. That's why I've got no faith in my Knicks. As much as I love them, I've got no faith in them when the playoffs roll around. But the Celtics, they said, hey, let's sweep the Knicks at MSG, and then call up your grandma in the wheelchair. We're going to play her against the Magic. 96-76. Craziness. More Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo up next after the break.
Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out continues with me, Joe Ceraulo, taking you through your Wednesday night into your Thursday morning. I'm going to take you to the ice shortly. I can't wait. VSiN NHL expert Jonathan Davis going to join the show here in about 15 minutes. Break down the Thursday NHL slate. A little bit of a look ahead to the postseason. Been talking about Ovechkin all 2025 long with Jonathan here on the show as he's been chasing Gretzky post New Year as this race got real to 895. Well, he's there, but we've still got a lot of great bets to give out. By the way, if you're not following Jonathan on Twitter at West Coast Hockey, HKY for hockey, you're missing out. He is just a wealth of knowledge, and his tweets, the breakdown, the analysis, superb, second to none when it comes to hockey. I get messages from Jonathan every now and then, and he'll just be like, even on a day he's not coming on the show, just send me a best bet. And this stuff is fantastic. Sent me a note on the Kraken the other day. Something, and I'm paraphrasing here. I don't have it. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up on Twitter really quickly so I don't mess this up. But he sent me a note the other day. Kraken, so this was Monday night. Kraken back-to-back tomorrow, Tuesday. 0-11 second half back-to-backs this year. Scored 2 or less, 10 of the 11. Shut out 4 times. Oppositions covered the puck line, 10 of the 11. Like, boom, 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 boom. Next thing I know, I look up Tuesday night. Utah's up 7-0 on Seattle. I don't know how that game ended, but it was 7-0. So I know it ended Utah covering the puck line. Jonathan Davis, absolutely terrific. He's going to join us here shortly. Let's take a look at Wednesday on the Diamond, Major League Baseball. See what we missed, who got home, who covered, who didn't. The Marlins shut out the Mets, 5-0. Mets were bound to drop one sooner or later. They had won 6 in a row, including 5 in a row at home to start their Citi Field season. Now 8-4 on the year. Still in first place. The Phillies got the win, so they're 8-3. So out of first place by 1 game in the loss column. That's fine. It's early. We'll make remarks and we'll make quips about first place and stuff here. If you take me seriously, the joke's on you. If you're watching the standings in April, get a hobby. If you're watching the standings in April, get a hobby or a pet. Wednesday MLB recap. For those of you watching on your screen, how about the Miami Marlins? They avoid the sweep, as I just said. Blank the Mets. Max Meyer, how about the kid? 6 1/3 scoreless. Tyler McGill, by the way, good start. His ERA goes down, gets the loss, but didn't allow an earned run. 2 runs, unearned, just a really high pitch count. Had a lot of strikeouts. That attributed to it. I don't think he had a clean inning. I think the Marlins had guys on every inning against McGill, but he did not allow an earned run, so he's 2-1 with a .63. The Dodgers snapped their 3-game losing streak, but those jerks couldn't cover the run line I gave out. They win at 6-5. Teoscar Hernandez, 2-run homer in the first, his 5th of the year already. Also had the go-ahead hit to give him the 6-5 win, but could not freaking cover. Padres take 2 out of 3 in Sacktown. Fastest team to 10 wins. They win 2-1 over the Athletics. First under in the 6-game history of the Athletics playing in Sacramento. Felt like that was bound to happen. Everyone and their mother started betting overs in Sacramento. So it felt like an under was bound to hit sooner or later. And Wednesday was the day. How about that Cardinals-Pirates game? First off, if you had the under, you were home free. It was what, nothing going into extras? My goodness. Cardinals got 1 in the top of the 13th. Pirates walked it off with 2 in the bottom. But, or was it 1 in the 12th and then the Pirates walked it off in the 13th? Either way, 2-1 Pittsburgh in 13. Eric Fetty for St. Louis, the starter, had a no-hitter through 6. He got yanked. Phil Maton, shocked he still has a job, former Met last year. I mean, the guy came in, it was like they were throwing batting practice. I saw him in the NLCS against the Dodgers. I shut the game off. I went to go watch a movie. That might have been the night I saw Wicked. I think when I saw Wicked, I saw that Phil Maton was coming in from the bullpen in a tight Mets-Dodgers NLCS game, and I shut it off, and I said, I'm going to go subject myself to Ariana Grande singing for 3 hours. But Maton's the one who lost the no-hitter for the Cardinals, not the one who lost the game. As the Cardinals drop to 5-7 on the year, the Pirates improve to 5-8. How about Pittsburgh? They take 2 out of 3 from St. Louis, and the one game they lost was the Paul Skeens start. Unders have been thriving in these early April cold weather games. Under in Citi Field, Marlins 5, Mets nothing. Under got there, I believe, by a half a run, maybe a push. Yankees, Tigers, 4-3. All the runs came in the 9th. I mean, if you had the first half under, you were home free. What was it, nothing after 5? Yeah, Yankees, 2 in the 7th, 2 in the 9th, Tigers, 3. So 5 combined runs in the 9th inning. And all 7 runs scored in the 7th inning or later. Both starting pitchers shoved. Max Fried, 7 scoreless, 11 strikeouts. Jack Flaherty, 5 1/3, scoreless, 9 strikeouts. We gave out Flaherty over 6.5 Ks plus 25 cents. That got there in the 3rd inning. Unfortunately, it was the only thing that got there for us. Can I vent? Hunter Brown and the Astros? First off, Houston's bullpen. I mean, thank God Hunter Brown didn't get there on the K prop, because we ultimately, yesterday on Cashing Out, we're talking about going Astros money line, and then we veered off at the end, and we decided to make the best bet, a same-game parlay. Astros money line, Hunter Brown, 5 or more strikeouts. This morning I woke up, I actually upped the ante. Instead of 5, I made it 6 Ks, got plus 30 cents. He goes 6 scoreless, only 3 strikeouts. Now, I was really ticked because the Astros were up 4-0 at the time. I'm actually happy they lost, because I'd rather go 0-2 on a parlay than ever lose a parlay by 1 leg. But the Mariners come back, win it 7-6. 3 runs. They were down 6-4, bottom of the 9th. Astros just absolutely imploded. But I'm baffled. Hunter Brown, only 3 strikeouts. Got over his K-prop with ease against Minnesota, his last start. And against Seattle, going into this start, I mean, I really thought the handicap was spot on. He had 6 starts against the Mariners, had gone 5+ Ks all 6. Had gone 8+ Ks 3 times, 2 of his last 3. Pitched to a 36% K rate against Seattle. Current Mariners hitters, 91 ABs, struck out 36% of the time against them. And yet he could not strike out anyway. This is a Mariners team that Tuesday night struck out 19 times in 12 innings. And Brown just could not put guys away. So many 2-strike counts, couldn't finish. So he goes 6 scoreless. Astros bullpen absolutely implodes. Mariners win at 7-6. And for the 2nd straight day, we get an early winner in Comerica and then finish 1-2, back-to-back days. Nothing ticks me off quite like that. Especially when the losers are the same game parlay in that fashion, and the Dodgers run line against the Nationals and they win by 1, 6-5. When Jake Irvin is pitching for the Nationals. And the Dodgers hand us a 4-0 first inning lead. LA was up 4-0. Nationals hadn't even gone to bat yet. Blink of an eye, snap of a finger, 4-0 Dodgers. And they win at 6-5. This was their second win, 2-4 in true road games now. And not an impressive one. They escape avoiding the sweep, but not an impressive win to beat the Nationals 6-5. Dodgers pitching stunk this series. They return home Friday for a date with the Cubbies. Matthew Boyd, believe he might have an ERA of 0 through his first 2 starts. I don't think he qualifies on the innings pitched, but I don't believe Boyd's allowed an earned run yet with Chicago, veteran lefty. He'll be opposite Roki Sasaki, the youngster from Japan. Friday night, Dodgers return home where they have not yet lost this season. Folks, do you want to know where the money's really going? Unlike other sources, our betting splits here at VSiN come straight from Circa and DraftKings Sportsbooks, giving you insight into where the sharp action's landing. Circa's known for taking big bets from the pros, while DraftKings provides a broader market perspective. That means you're getting the real action, not just public money, but the kinds of wagers that move lines. See the percentage of bets versus the handle on every game across every major sport, helping you make smarter, more informed bets. Get VSiN's summer special right now for just $59. How about that? Half off the normal price. Till August 1st. VSiN.com/subscribe. Going to be talking hockey here momentarily with Jonathan Davis, VSiN's NHL expert. As we wrap up our look around the diamond, D-backs blank the Orioles, win the series 9-0. Brandon Pfaadt looked great. Had a terrible first start. He's looked pretty good in back-to-back starts since. K numbers are down. I believe he only had 3 or 4, but gets the win. The Rangers salvaged that series against the Cubbies. Tyler Mahle shoved. Shota Imanaga got banged around for the first time this year. Rangers win it 6-2 behind not 1, but 2 homers from the slumping Corey Seager. Big day for Seager out there at Windy Wrigley, and an uncharacteristic struggle for Shota Imanaga. Mention the Padres A's, that 2-1 win for San Diego, by the way. How about the fact that they out-hit the Athletics 12-2? 12 hits and just 2 runs. I mean, you can't do that. There is nothing more frustrating. And they got the win, so it worked out. But if they lost that game and you're a fan, you're sitting there going 12 damn hits and no one could hit with guys on base, guys in scoring position. Crazy. 2-1. First under in Sacramento. First team, the San Diego Padres, to 10 wins. And that's because they did it a few minutes before the Dodgers got there as well. Hockey with Jonathan Davis up next. It's Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo.
Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out continues with me, Joe Ceraulo, taking you through the late hours of your Wednesday night into your Thursday morning on the program. And we've covered it all this hour, right? We started with Luka, the Lakers, the Mavericks, and the NBA. Just recapped Wednesday on the diamond. Well, now it's time to take it to the ice and welcome in VSiN's NHL expert, Jonathan Davis, into the program. Follow him on Twitter at West Coast Hockey. That's HKY. For hockey, some of the best on-ice analysis you can get. Jonathan, how are you, my friend? Always great to have you on.
I'm doing great. It's a quiet night, game-wise, but it's been I just cashed a 2-for-1 special. It's always nice when you got a guy for an anytime goal and you get an assist from a player you were riding for points on the same play. So, yeah, it's been a nice night.
I love it. Well, we're going to get into some goal props, some point props coming up for Thursday's slate. I wanted to ask you, just in terms of your handicapping process here, the regular season's winding down, playoffs are right around the corner. And I know that you always come prepared with some props, but we've gotten a lot of totals out of you, some occasional sides as well. As the season winds down, you get these teams that are playing for nothing, games due in pretty much every league, right? We say it with September baseball, basketball down the stretch. Games become a little more unpredictable. So do you focus more on props the final 2-3 weeks of the regular season than maybe sides or totals?
It's really situational. I mean, you look at tonight, for instance, a game going on right now with Calgary and Anaheim. The only thing I played was the under 6.5 in that game. because both these teams, Calgary's got a propensity. I think it's 19-4 there to the under in division games, and Calgary's riding has been another under team when it comes to games off of a win. So that one, no props in that one. It was just the total. Earlier in the night, Philadelphia Flyers. I played 2 props, but very small. But my big play was the Flyers team total over 2.5 because I was isolating the Rangers goalie Jonathan Quick, who has had he's given up 3 goals or more, I think, in 6 straight starts, and the Rangers have given up 3 goals or more in 8 of their last 10. So, every game's a little different. As we talk about some of the games tomorrow, when we hit on the Boston-Chicago game, that one's all about player props, no sides, no total.
Let's start right there. What do you like? Bruins, Blackhawks? Are we going to go to the Bruins' best scorer in this one?
Yeah. We are definitely going to the Bruins' best scorer. David Pastrnak and the Boston Bruins are one of the worst teams in the NHL. I mean, this year it's been to see the way that they have free fallen it's remarkable for a team that a couple of years ago won the President's Trophy, the most points in the NHL. But David Pastrnak, reached the 100-point mark, and Joe, he's got 100 points. He has been in on 47% of the Bruins' goals this year. That's more than Connor McDavid. That's more than Leon Draisaitl. That's more than Nathan McKinnon. 47%. He's got 11 points in his last 3 games. He's had games of 3, 3, and 5. So we're going to ride a Pastrnak goal, anytime goal. It's minus 115. It's not a great price. And then I'm going to kind of do a little ladder prop. I mean, you're Mr. Ladder Prop. I know when it comes to the NFL. So we're going to do this with Pasta. We'll go 2+ points and 3+ points. And we'll play a little heavier on the 2+ points than we would the 3. But that's how we're going to ride. That's how we're going to do with David Pastrnak. And then Morgan Geekie, your new favorite name, Joe.
Yeah, the name Bruins. I was trying to learn how to pronounce during the break. I love it.
Yeah, just think about the Geek Squad at Best Buy. So he's got 6 goals and 9 assists in his last 8 games. Going to play Geekie for a goal and to get at least 1 assist. And this way, look, you're going to make, if you split, you're still going to make money on it because you're getting plus money on both bets. So for me, I don't want to play him to get 2+ points. I'll play the goal, play the assist, and hope that I get, at least one of those, and I'm coming away with some profit.
Yeah, plus 170 and plus 150, at least a half a unit if one of those hits. By the way, we did have some fun with the geeky pronunciation and, you teaching me during the break who he was. I might not have known. I did know David Pastrnak, so I'm not the biggest hockey guy, but I've known Pasta because going back to when I was in college and I briefly dated a girl from the Boston area, she made it very known to me after a few dates that she liked me. But if things were successful between us, the one person she would leave me for in the blink of an eye was David Pastrnak. So I've known about Pasta for a while, Jonathan.
Hey, it's fair. I mean, look, every person's going to have that little, get out of jail free card.
Right. We call it the laminated list, to quote some old episodes of Friends between Ross and Rachel. Hey, how about, speaking of when I was in college, closest team to my alma mater, St. Bonaventure, Buffalo Sabres. They're taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets. What do you have, 2-3 plays in this game? Let's hit on that one.
Yeah, a couple. Buffalo seems to play its best when they're eliminated from the playoffs, and they've won 5 in a row. Yeah, this will be 14 consecutive years for the Buffalo Sabres not to make the playoffs. It's remarkable. If only the Pagula family could handle the Sabres like they do the Bills, it would be great. But Buffalo has been one of the best teams in the first period to go over the total on the road. They're 25-12 this year. Columbus, one of the best teams to go over in the first period at home. They're 26-11. So we'll go over 1.5 goals in the first period. Also like the full game over 6.5. Both these teams, Columbus, their last 3 home games in particular, I think it's 7, 10, and 12 goals. Buffalo's been a really good over team of late. Columbus is the best over team in the NHL this year. They've been that way pretty much from start to finish. So we'll ride the over. And then Tage Thompson, Buffalo's star goal scorer, he's had 8 goals in the last, 7? He's goals in 5 straight, 8 goals total. We'll take Tage Thompson at about plus 135 for an anytime goal.
Love the value there with the plus money goal out of Thompson. He's had a pretty good year, been a bright spot on a pretty bad Sabres team. Let's go down to the Canes-Capitals game. Top two teams in the Metro Division. The playoff picture starting to take shape. Devils just clinched. My New Jersey Devils got the 3 seed, so they'll take on Carolina. But as the Hurricanes take on the Capitals in this one, what do you like in that game?
Well, look, these two teams, Joe, met about 6 days ago in Washington. It was a pretty ugly ending to the game where Jalen Chatfield of the Carolina Hurricanes and Connor McMichael of the Capitals had a scrap at the end of the game, and it was a pretty vicious takedown by Chatfield. There could be some bad blood in this game, but also the big news for Washington, their number one goalie, Logan Thompson, is out. Charlie Lindgren will get the start. It's going to be interesting to see how Washington starts to play now because, look, up until this point, it's been all about Ovechkin. There hasn't been a lot of structure to their game. So the one thing I'm going to target for this game is Carolina's team total over 2.5. Now, it's very pricey at minus 170. So look, find yourself, something else that you want to parlay it with. Whatever sport you want to choose. But Washington's given up 3 or more goals, Joe, in 8 straight games. So I love that prop. I'll find something to parlay it with, but I'm definitely on that over 2.5 goals for Carolina.
Jonathan, which of these two teams do you think goes further in the postseason? The Capitals, obviously, incredible regular season, but not getting a lot of love on the odds board compared to some other teams in the East for the playoffs. Which team do you like more when the postseason starts?
I like Carolina more than Washington. I'm not big on the Capitals. Really haven't been for a while now. I just, look, especially now if Logan Thompson is out and they're going to have to ride Charlie Lindgren, that puts them in a really bad spot. I just don't think they're a team that's built for a long Stanley Cup run. I'm more into Carolina, but by the same token, I'm not big on Carolina either.
Yeah, the odds makers in the books would certainly seem to agree with you when it comes to the Capitals. Interesting that you threw in there you're not big on Carolina. They seem to be a team that's picking up more action. Take us home with an exciting matchup in the Western Conference. Winnipeg, Dallas, these two teams are still both live for the 1 seed overall in the conference. What do you like in this game?
Yeah, this is a big game for Dallas. Look, Dallas is coming off one of the worst loss in NHL history last night. The first time in NHL history a team gave up 3 goals in the final minute of a game and ended up losing that game, which is what Dallas did last night. Thursday they get Winnipeg. 7 straight meetings between these two teams have gone under the total. The Winnipeg Jets are really big. They're an under team in the division. 17 of their 21 games, Joe, have gone under the total when playing teams within the division. So that directly corresponds to Dallas, as I said. 7 straight unders between the two. All 3 games between them this year have gone under. Dallas has taken only 1 of the 3 games. The Winnipeg Jets, I haven't decided if I want to play the Jets tomorrow, but they are 25-8 this year against teams with winning records.
Wow, that's a great little nugget. Jonathan, as always, man, appreciate the time, appreciate the picks, and the tremendous analysis. Thanks so much for hopping on.
Always a pleasure. Have a great night.
He's VSiN's NHL expert, Jonathan Davis. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at West Coast Hockey. That's HKY for hockey. Always comes in with the best analysis of the NHL. We're going to talk, instead of the Stars, about the Dallas Mavericks. Up next, it was homecoming for Luka. Don't go anywhere. Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo continues.
Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out continues with me, Joe Ceraulo. Great stuff right there from our friend Jonathan Davis, breaking down the upcoming Thursday on the ice. Left us off there with the Dallas Stars hosting the Winnipeg Jets. Dallas still live, albeit unlikely, for the President's Trophy. Like Jonathan pointed out, coming off that historic loss. Up 3, final minute of regulation. Vancouver Tuesday night tied it. 3 straight goals in the final minute. And then Vancouver ultimately won it in overtime. The Canucks are eliminated. Dallas trying to fight Winnipeg here down the stretch. They're 7-1-2 in their last 10 are the Stars. Winnipeg just 6-4. As Dallas and the Jets each have 4 games to go. The Stars 4 points behind Winnipeg with a big head-to-head coming up. But how about the Dallas Mavericks, the other team that graces the American Airlines Center? Was not as good a night, has not been as good a season for the Mavericks as it's been for the Stars. They played host to their former loved one, Luka Doncic, and the Lakers went to Dallas Wednesday night, and it was emotional for the fans, I'm sure, for Luka, who was crying during the opening tribute video, and then Doncic went scorched earth against Dallas. 45 points. What inflated total? 30.5. Might have been 3 to 4 points higher than normal. It was no worry for Luka. 45 points, goes way over that. 8 assists, 8 boards, 6 assists, 4 steals. He did it all. LeBron added 27 points. Monster night for the Lakers in Dallas as they take care of the Mavs 112-97. We talked about that line, 4.5. It seemed suspect. Well, LA covered it with not relative ease, but once the second half got going, absolute ease. There were some less easy finishes out west. How about some of the games that wrapped up? San Antonio on the late night slate. What a comeback. I mean, the Warriors needed this game. My goodness. Golden State with the choke job of all choke jobs. They were down 4 at halftime. They were still favored by 7.5. Mind you, the Warriors were 17.5-point favorites pre-flop. They go on a sick third quarter run, 37-21, outscoring San Antonio in the third. Turn a 4-point deficit into a 12-point lead going into the final frame, and all of a sudden they're looking live to cover the 17.5. Well, San Antonio responded with a monster fourth quarter, outscored Golden State 38-23, really clamped down on defense, and doesn't just cover, wins outright. Spurs playing for nothing, improved to 33-47. Golden State drops to 47-33. Harrison Barnes with a winner at the buzzer, 6 of 9 from the floor, 6 of 9 from 3. 20 points, including the game-winning shot to break the tie and win it for the Spurs. Chris Paul, 12 points. Stephon Castle led the way with 21, tied with Keldon Johnson off the bench. Monster second half, monster fourth quarter out of Keldon Johnson as Castle and Johnson each finish with 21, excuse me. For the Warriors, it was Jimmy and Steph and lackluster showing from the supporting cast. Steph gave him 30, got over 4.5 threes, finished with 5 despite having just 1 at halftime. Jimmy even hit a couple of threes of his own, but how about what he did at the free throw line? Goodness, got there 17 times. He took 17 of Golden State's 28 free throws. Goes 16 of 17 at the line, 28 points, 7 assists. Had a negative differential though. Steph was plus 13, Jimmy minus 9. Certainly differentials never tell the entire story, but interesting that Jimmy, pretty good stat line, and also what he brings on defense, that the Warriors struggled with him out there. Draymond finishes with 13, 8 assists, 9 boards, near triple-double. Kuminga and Hield each 12 off the bench for Golden State in a rough loss for the Warriors this late in the year. Phoenix, by the way, I believe officially eliminated. Yep, the Suns, gone. Oklahoma City, no SGA, no Dort, no Hartenstein, no problem. Thunder win it 125-112. They were down 67-62 at the half, and as the Suns have done so many times this season, they squander a first-half lead and lose it 125-112. OKC was a 1.5 favorite at halftime. They were 7.5-point favorites going into the fourth quarter. They win it by 13 to the Thunder. Jalen Williams, what a night. 33 points, 7 boards, 5 assists. Holmgren, 22 and 10. Thunder had 6 guys in double figures, despite no SGA, no Dort, no Hartenstein. How about that? For Phoenix, Booker had 14 assists. Massive number there, 20 points. Beal had 25. Colin Gillespie, Villanova hero, had 17. But quiet nights from a nearly unrecognizable supporting cast out there in the desert. So the Suns can finally let go of any false hope. 35-45, and officially out of the hunt for the play-in. So Dallas loses, but they clinch the 10 seed. It'll be Dallas-Sacramento in some order in that 9-10 game. Sacramento also lost. They were 4.5-point dogs at close. It opened up closer to a pick'em, I believe around 2, closed 4.5. Denver was up 8 at the half when we checked in. They win it by 8, 124-116. The sky is blue, Bears crap in the woods, Nikola Jokic got a triple-double. What's new there? 20 points, 12 boards, 11 dimes. Michael Porter, Aaron Gordon, each had 21. Christian Brunn, team high 25. Monster second half from Jalen Pickett. Want to say he had 3 points at halftime. Finished with 18. 5 of 7 from 3. The Penn State product who started his collegiate career at Siena. I got a front row seat to Jalen Pickett. Siena, St. Bonaventure, Franciscan Cup, annual meeting between the two oldest Franciscan institutions in New York. This kid was a stud from the start. Not too many Siena guys in the NBA. And it might say Penn State when you go to his player bio. Don't be fooled. That was just the final stop at the collegiate level. This kid is special. I like Jalen Pickett. I want to see more out of him. I'll be curious to see how he performs in the postseason. Sacramento got all 5 starters, 13 points or more. Surprisingly, the low guy was Domantas Sabonis. 13 points, 12 boards. Trey Lyles, 17 and 9, the other big. DeRozan, 22. Keon Ellis, 20. LaVine, team high, 27. Also 11 dimes for Zach LaVine. Sacramento falls to 39-41 right now in position to host Dallas in the 9-10 game. That'll be a battle of mediocrity if I ever saw one. Let's take a look at the NBA standings momentarily. But first, folks, I want to remind you to take your betting to the next level with our friends over at First Bet. Whether it's Santa Anita, Gulfstream Park, or the road to the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness, First Bet has you covered by putting the action at your fingertips. Sign up now, firstbet.com. It's the number one, stbet.com. Use the promo code VSiN200. You'll score a 20% rebate on all wagers for the first 60 days up to $200. Don't miss out. Bet smarter today at firstbet.com. So with the conclusion of the late games, an updated look at the standings. The LA Clippers beat Houston. Believe they covered in the nightcap there. Let me double check. They were laying 10. I think they won by double digits. Final score at the Intuit Dome. Yep, 17-point win, 134-117. James Harden, 35 points, 10 dimes. I mean, the Houston Rockets have the 2 seed locked up. It was practically an unrecognizable lineup they ran out there. Jalen Green only notched 15 minutes. No Jabari, no Şengün, no Van Fleet. So Houston not exactly running their A squad out there. Kawhi finished with 22 and 10 boards. Zubac's a triple-double. How about that? Wow. 10 assists out of the big. 11 boards, 20 points. Harden, 35 and 10. 10 dimes, that is, as mentioned. Couple of good bench performances. Nick Batum, 15. Bogdanovich, 16. Clippers, 134-117 for the winning cover. So they improved to 48 and 32. Website's saying 47 and 32, but I believe that's wrong. I believe that was game number 80 for them, unless I'm just flat out mistaken. Yeah, all right, so the website hasn't updated. The Clippers are 48 and 32. The Nuggets are 48 and 32. The Warriors dropped to 47 and 33. And Memphis, 47 and 32. They have 3 games left. So the Warriors, Nuggets, and Clippers have 2 to go. The Grizzlies, 3 to go. And that 4 through 8 seed still is up for grabs as ever. I mean, the 3 even, the Lakers with the win, 49 and 31. They have a 1-game lead on Denver and the Clippers. 1.5 game lead on Memphis. 2 on Golden. Golden State's in the play-in now. I can't believe the choke job for Golden State. They have that incredible third quarter, take a 12-point lead over a Wemby-less, Fox-less Spurs team into the 4th. I mean, the question at that juncture should have been, will Golden State cover the 17.5 they were laying pre-flop? Not will they win up 12 with a quarter to go. I cannot get over that choke job. Good for the Spurs. Golden State embarrassed them in San Antonio 2 Sundays ago. Clearly, the Spurs were pissed off, and they exacted their revenge. Game doesn't matter for them, but they were chippy. I respect it. More Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo up next.